Yeah, that's right. I see the chat. I see y'all rocking. I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Show your love. Show your support. You know what I'm saying? This that dope soul. This that new thing. Nobody don't know about it.
We're on. Oh, salute. Salute, Nick. I didn't hear the music. Salute, Knicks Nation. Welcome to salute to you, Queen. Salute to you, Knick Nation. And salute to the chat. Welcome to Dope Soul Sports Collective. Welcome to another edition of the Just Nickin' It show, but it's an early edition. Like for those of you, and I know 90% of you guys usually come here, we're early, and the reason is because our Knicks are playing tomorrow.
Yep.
So there's no negotiation. When the Knicks are playing, there's no show. Like there's no question about it. So we come in early, chop it up and talk about the Knicks and talk about the state of the Knicks, what's going on with the NBA, but in reference to the Knicks, of course, because that's really the only thing that interests us over here. How you guys doing?
I'm good. I'm traveling tomorrow, so Ajay is hosting tonight. I appreciate you.
Hey, Queen always going somewhere. Always going somewhere.
Yeah. This is the Disney cruise with my godchildren, so I'm looking forward to this. But I'm getting older, so I need my sleep. Like I'm like I can't be like burning it to like 1 o'clock in the morning. Get up, get to the hip. 11 o'clock.
I got one thing of advice for you: Mai Tais and lounge chairs. There you go. That's all you need.
All right.
That'll work. All right. So of course tonight we're gonna talk about the Knicks.
Nathan didn't say how he was doing.
Oh no, I'm good. Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm a stable. The old marble is holding on, so if I can keep the noodle together, that's as much as we could ask for.
Nick Nation already got that timer in his head, man. His answer was fast. His answer was like, "I'm good." That was it.
Short and sweet, brother. Short and sweet.
Of course, the Knicks.
Salute to the chat, though. Salute to the chat,
Salute to the chat, man. Always for showing up.
Wait,
look at that. We show up on Thursday with very, very short notice, and everybody's already, people already coming in here. And we really, really, truly appreciate this, man. And don't forget to hit the like button, right? That's how we let everybody know that you guys are really enjoying us. And subscribe to the channel. Make sure your notifications are on, that's why you catch shows like this, like early, out of sequence, off schedule shows. That's how you get notified when those shows come on. And of course, share with your social media family and let them know that hey, Dope Soul Sports Collective is the place to be, right? So of course we're gonna talk about the Knicks. The Knicks are on a 7-game winning streak, the longest winning streak in the East. How you guys feeling about the Knicks? I'm feeling pretty good. I still have some reservations because the record tells you something, but then the eye test tells you something else, as usual. And us hardcore Knicks fan, we look at every possible angle. So yes, that's what we do. Listen, a 7-game winning streak in the NBA is a 7-game winning streak. It's very hard to win 7 games in a row. We're talking about the best teams, the best players in the world that you're doing this against. I don't care if this team is lottery bound, they're talented. And as you can see, a lot of those teams gave us a hard time. Brooklyn, we eked out a win by a point against Brooklyn. Like we played, some of those other teams, we were down. We had to come from 20 down just to win those games. So nothing's easy in the NBA. It shows both a good side and the bad side of the Knicks. Having fallen down by 20 points to teams that we have no business doing this against, but then coming back and winning also show the grit and the fighter nature of this team. What do you guys think? How do you guys feel about where we are right now with this team, like heading into the playoffs? Queen, you want to go first?
Depending on the day or the week you catch me, I'm leaning more positive or leaning more negative. Right now I'm leaning positive. I mean, this is what we're 73 games in. And so we've seen the best and the worst of this team. I don't know. I just have a good feeling about the Knicks, and I get it. I'm not somebody that believes that teams can just turn it on. And I get it. It wasn't the strongest opponents we've played on the 7-game win streak. And maybe I'm just being a homer, but I just have a really good feeling about this team. The way Cat has been playing of late, has something to do with how I'm feeling. Deuce McBride coming back, that's helping me feel really good about it. The way Clarkson has played of late, shout out to Mike Brown. Like when you are out the rotation, you're not out for the season. You get another opportunity, and Clarkson has been back and he's playing well. And you know, when you look at this roster, Clarkson has a lot of playoff experience, right? He played in Utah when Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert was there, right? So he has that experience. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, and this was early in his career. Was he on that Cleveland team with LeBron that went to the finals? I mean, I know if he was really young, but I know he played with LeBron in Cleveland. I'm not sure if he was on that particular team, but he has experience, and I've seen players in the playoffs, some come to life, but I've also seen players disappear. And so as many players as you can have that have experience, it bodes well for you. Bridges hit his threes. I'm happy about that. Brunson was back to himself in the fourth quarter looking clutch. So I don't know. I just have a good feeling about this team heading into the playoffs.
Good feeling indeed. But Queen, you mentioned all the players, and Nick Nation, I'm going to get to you in a minute. But one player who has really, really impressed is Mitchell Robinson.
Oh man, Mitchell Robinson, you're absolutely right.
Mitchell
Absolutely
Robinson,
right.
he's been on a rampage. Like, he's been playing really well, really smart. He's in the right place at the right time. The effort is relentless. You switch on him, his defense. Like, I don't care who he's defending, he's giving you a hard time. So he's I guess he right now looks like he's fully healthy, fully in shape, and I mean, we've seen him play minutes when needed, so it looks like there's no minute restriction on him at all. The only restriction really is just the back-to-back stuff that they had early on in the season, and of course we're not going to have that in the playoffs. And right now, to end the season, looks like there's only one back-to-back game. So we have Boston followed by the Raptors sometime in April. I want to say the 9th and the 10th. And so obviously you don't expect them to play. But if this Mitch that we're seeing right now goes into the playoffs, man, that's just another weapon that we're going to have in the playoffs. And we're going to need this, especially the first. So with Mitch playing the way he is, the first round, I don't care who we playing, man, we're probably going to be heavily favored. That doesn't determine the outcome, but you're going to be favored by a large margin. Nick Nation, how you feel about this team, man?
Well, I'm gonna say it like this. Steph is an optimistic. She's in an optimistic, mood and feeling. What's name today? I'm still pessimistic in ways. I'm as good as the last game. So the last game was good. You know what I mean? I'm good, but I'm still, with caution for the next game because, timely shots, timely wins. And right now, I think we need a timely win. So, we're on a 7-game winning streak. Has competition been the stiffest of competition? No. Have we been at our best? No. But we've grinded it out. We've gotten the wins that we're supposed to win. So, it's like an old rule of Italian driving. You know what I mean? You rip out the rearview mirror because what is behind you does not matter. So at this stage of it, we're on and pushing forward. We got stiff competition coming up. I think I judge us more from sometime our losses than our success. So with that being said, I'm off to the waiting to see how the next game comes up. To me, it's a really heavier competition point and a win that we need. So I'm sorry, I'm a little bit pessimistic, but I try to keep it a buck.
Okay.
Yeah, and listen, I don't blame you, Nick Nation, because we watch those games and like we know, short memory, right? We all have short memory. We look at the record and we're really happy, but all of a sudden we forget that this team was down by 21 points to the not even the Golden State Warriors, whatever their G League team is called over there, in the Bay Area, and this is the part that gets you nervous as a Knicks fan, right? But like you said, the next game is going to be very important because coming up is the Charlotte Hornets. Now, don't let their record fool you because Charlotte Hornet has been on a tear. I mean, they have been playing extremely well. I am really looking forward to this game tomorrow to see what I mean. It's good competition, right? This is a good gauge. You want to see where your team's at. You want to see where the Knicks are at. And tomorrow's game is, and it's the first of many too, because there are other. I think check my schedule. So we have Charlotte, OKC, and Houston. All three on the road.
Yeah,
all three
Yes.
of them we're playing away. So this is it's going to be a good stretch coming for the Knicks. Is a good way to tell. How do you guys feel about the and Queen? I know you alluded to it a little bit, right? The fact that they inserted Jordan Clarkson in the rotation, but I want to talk about the rotation as a whole. Like, how do you feel like Mike Brown has been managing? I'm very big on managing players. How do you feel he's been doing? Think Nation.
Well, you want it on me or was
Yeah,
it
yeah.
on Queen? I'm sorry.
No,
On me?
yeah. Mhm.
On me. Okay. Well, up until last night, I thought he was pushing some good buttons, even though we did win. And I commentated in the chat on this earlier at the recap show.
Mhm.
I'm still in a little bit of a question as to how he managed our big men at the end of that game. And the reason why I'm reflecting on that is because out of all the playoff teams in the East that we will contend against, the one area which I feel we have dominated from Jump Street from the beginning of the season till now and probably through the end of the season is our ability to create with our centers, second shots, and getting rebounds. And particularly last night when he took them out. And the objective for me is to dominate my will upon the other team, not for me to flip my card and say, hey, I'm going to go with a smaller unit. Why? Because they went so small. I want that small unit to be punished. I want that small unit to feel that, you know what, here's this 7 feet, 300-pound man that is just, taking us down on the inside and doing, creating maximum damage. I want them boards to be ripped down by Mitchell Robinson to where this team is begging, even if we shooting backwards, it's begging for us not to get the rebound. I want us to oppose our will. To me, those are strength and strong teams. And those teams, to me, a lot of times move forward because teams are then trying to catch up to us and what we're doing. And sometimes I just question Mike Brown's decision making. I don't know if it's more so that we haven't developed our big men to where they should be dominating, and if that's an indictment on the coach or on the players themselves. Currently, my thought pattern is that is more on the coaches, because the coaches should have recognized this early on that, hey, this is the East, the centers wise, most teams that we'll be going up against with, that is our strength, and we should centralize on our strengths going into the playoffs. I love Brunson, and I think that Brunson is one of the greatest guards that the Knicks have ever seen. But when this game is said and done, we need reboundings and we need to control the pace of the game. And how we control the pace of the game, I believe, is through our centers. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it because I know I'm on that timer.
Nah, we freestyling.
Okay.
Right. So you still have a problem, but anything in particular? So besides the big man, so you feel that the big man should be like the center of, like, literally center of the offense?
I think going into the playoffs, though,
Mhm.
I think just going into the playoffs, and I'm looking at a lot of the teams that we will be going up against. To me, it's clear cut that in that area, we've been dominate, and we should focus and force teams to counter to our will, not the other way around. I think there should be heavy doses of at times that, hey, just pour it into Cat. Push Cat, tell him, hey, this guy's 6'10", 265 on you. Push him into the paint. Catch the ball up over the top and just shoot up over the top of them. Force them to come back to what we like to do, or what's name, but not us the other way around. And especially against teams like Atlanta, Detroit, these teams are track star teams that get a lot of their possessions and love to run. We need to control that pace. And I think early on that's how you control the pace, especially with Mitchell Robinson, because teams are not looking to outright and run. Why? Because they got to stay down and block him out. It takes two guys a lot of times to block him out, which then slows your offense out from running down and just run and gun. So I just think our focus needs to be somewhere there, and we need to have a strong focus of that going into the playoffs.
So is that just yesterday? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Queen, because I'll follow up with a question.
Yeah, I just had clarification. Is that just yesterday's game, or just last night's game, or in general?
I think in general. That overall, because like I say, it's the teams. If you look at all the teams at which we will probably counter for the most part, and besides Joel Embiid, which is hurt a lot of times and in and out, and what's name, any other center at that point of that what's name is, Jalen Durham is really, honestly, too, even though he's a muscular size, he's still really 6'9". So they list him at 6'10". He's really about 6'8", 6'9". So there's a point where between Cat and Mitch, they need to dominate. I think this is part of like a strategy, a game plan that you have to have in your pocket to understand, to force teams into definitely a worse defensive position by causing them to collapse down on our big men.
Knick Nation, let me ask you this though, because Cat, I mean, we saw this last season and we saw it this season. Other teams, they put their power forwards, they put the smaller guys, or even sometimes like little guys like Caruso. I dare Caruso checking out Cat, man. But they that's what they did. So now we're talking about.
There was a reasoning behind that though, because the way the position where he was playing all the time. So they wanted to stop him even at that top point, to say, here, to get him out of rhythm. Don't let him dribble that well. Cut us off, you know what I mean? And then they would be sitting there really, truly waiting to double him, because if he's going to catch the ball up at top, you know what I mean? At the beginning point of the year, it was counter step, fake, jab step, fake the shot. I'm going to the right and I'm going down to what's near. All he was doing was sitting there with a guy waiting on him, either to strip the ball from him or, cause him to turn back and figure it out from there. And this time he's doubled and triple teamed and everybody's sitting there waiting, looking for the pass. So what we have to have is much more of a stronger game plan, when we come out with this.
Well, my question is, do you think that's on the coach or do you think that's on Cat? And because now we're talking about two different coaches here with the same situation, right? Is it something with the player that maybe something the coaches are seeing that we're not seeing? Because, hey, with Tom Thibodeau, it was the same situation last year. And then like time and time again, every one of those series, man, I remember, what's his name in Detroit? Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris was the main guy checking Cat last season, which was crazy when you think about it. And they continue to do this season. So what do you think? It's the player? Do you think it's Cat maybe need to, like those guys?
I think it's both. I think it's both. And I'm splitting the baby on it in a sense, is because it's the nuance of the offense. Now that those two have sat down and have kind of grinded through the season, they kind of understand that, hey, we just couldn't have Cat in one place. So he's actually, fine-tuned the offense. And then now they've moved Cat and he's caught the ball in better places. He feels more comfortable doing that, which then makes him much more adverse, which we've all been screaming for that for months now. So when we look at Cat and we see these improvements came, why? Because we moved him. We didn't just sit him in one point of a target. We caused the defense to say, oh, you know what? Wait a minute. They did something different. Wait, let's figure this out. as opposed to, you know what, I know it's coming. I'm going to throw you a fastball straight down and what's name here. Let's see if you can hit it or not, you know? So you play differently because there's certain things that now you can't sit and wait on the fastball. You got to sit and go, oh, wait, he's throwing a slide. He's throwing a curve. So it's a difference. So with that point and when that difference has changed, is subsequent, hasn't Cat looked better? Hasn't the coach actually said that, yeah, this is working? That the player, he contributed to the player still putting in the work and the time, but also there was part of the scheme. The scheme did change, which then creates a new nuance for the offense.
What do you think, Queen?
I'm all for taking advantage of mismatches. I love that. But, and I said this on the show before, because I think it was not the last time we played Toronto, but the time before. And they didn't have anyone over 6'9", and Cat wasn't really getting the ball. And he was asked about it post-game, and he said that's not their offense. Like, their offense is not to come out of what they do to take advantage of mismatches. It's just to kind of run the offense and try to get I guess, paraphrasing, try to get the best shot you can get, out of the offense. And maybe Mike Brown feels that if you just go to a player over and over again, the offense gets bogged down. I don't really see it that way because I feel like you can run action anywhere. So even if you run a play and it goes to Cat, doesn't mean he has to take the shot. Now he's reading what they're doing. If he has it, he takes it. If they double, he reads that. So I feel like you can get a free flowing offense no matter what you do, if you're able to read what the defense is doing and move the ball and move your bodies. But that's not something the Knicks do a lot of. Like, even when they do go to Cat and Cat hits a basket or two, it's not a steady diet of that mismatch. And I would like to see more of it. And I agree with you, Knick Nation. You look at this Eastern Conference, that's a huge advantage for us. And listen, now they got to start doubling teaming. And if they start double teaming, then that opens up another part of our offense. But I just don't think it's part of what we do. And that was last year too. We used to always say that. Why do we not go to the hot hand? Why do we not take advantage of the mismatches? Maybe these coaches feel like the system will take care of it. But I'm all for taking advantage of the mismatch.
Do you feel, well, you mean that's from the other team's perspective or from the Knicks' perspective? Like, do you feel that we have been taking advantage of our mismatches?
I think Cat's been getting the ball more, for sure. But, listen, there's some of these teams you playing, you could just spam it, right? You could just go there as many times as you want because they don't have anybody. I think that's what Knick Nation was saying about last night, going small, Cat playing 25 minutes. I think he had 25 points, 14 rebounds in like 25 minutes, something like that. And Mike Brown went small. Our 3-point defense was not great last night. And so maybe, that was his thinking. But the flip side of it is the hell with it. If we're going down low and we're scoring each time down, it's not like it was 2 for 3 for every 2 points they was hitting a 3. That's a different story.
Right.
So yeah.
I mean,
and the weird thing is we were winning at the time.
Our 3-point defense is not good any night.
Well, actually, it is since January 1st, it's top 10. At least when I checked it, yeah, it is.
The stats, listen, stats. I'm talking about the eye test. As fans watching the game, Queen, what did I text you yesterday? I think I sent you one text tonight or 2 texts. One of them's like, any team we play look great from 3-point line. Any one of them. But
the last 2 games, Ajay, but the stats do tell the story, though.
Yeah.
But the last 2 games, you're absolutely right.
According to the stats, we're 5th in the NBA in the defensive rating, by the way.
Yeah.
So
You don't the eye test doesn't match up with that to you?
No, no,
Wow.
it doesn't. I think we're beating teams because we're able to find our groove in scoring. That's why, our defense to me has been horrendous in the first quarter, every one of those games. And we've been falling behind because we haven't been scoring. And then once the scoring picks up, and then we run up on those teams and beat them up.
Well, my observation has been that the Knicks offense has not been really good. And when we were winning those games, I think it was because of how we were playing on the defensive end. Like some of those games were low scoring games, 105, 101, something of that sort. I think last night was a good offensive night for the Knicks. There was another game recently that I thought was a really good offensive night for the Knicks. But I shout out to Lady in the Chef. Appreciate you, sis. I think the defense is legit. I mean, yeah, our 3-point defense wasn't great the past 2 nights, but overall, I think our defense is legit. I mean, if you look at not just defensive rating, but you look at opponent field goal percentage, opponent 3-point percentage, opponent points in the paint, opponent fast break points, opponent, like if you look at all of those things, the Knicks are top 10 in most of them. Some of them on the season and definitely since January 1st. I think the defense is legit.
Yeah, we're top 5 defensive team in the league. So that, I mean, I guess whatever my eyes tell me is what my eyes tell me what the numbers are. Right?
It's got to be closer to legit considering where we came from. Because if you measure us at a base, we were 26 early on in the season, and to fight down from 26 to get to 5 is an incredible effort. So I got to still give them hands down to that, because numbers for statistics can be skewed in a sense, but that is a huge overcoming, a huge drop down. So I got to go with more of legitimacy than, fugazi for me. So I will give us that point.
Better as we go along. You're right about the bad starts in the first quarter, but part of that is to me, part of that is, well, sometimes it's offense, sometimes it's defense, but the defense gets better as we go along. I don't have the stats for that in terms of what we score each quarter, but I would say that the defense gets better as the game goes on.
Yeah. And the results have been showing it, right? Seven wins in a row. So yeah, some things got it. But offensively though, we don't rank as high though. I think we're like let me see, maybe 9th up there somewhere. Yeah, 9th in the league, and that's surprising.
Overall, or since January 1st?
Overall.
Oh, overall then that means we might be like 29. No, I'm kidding. So we were 3rd for a long time, and I thought that how we were playing in the first half of the season was kind of really pushing us up there in terms of offensive rating on the season. But now that's about right. 9, if you take the entire season into consideration, because we've been about 9-10 since January 1st.
Yeah. So, which is surprising, right? Because when you watch the game, you're like, we can't score. Even though lately, though, I believe, like, even though we've been winning, but the offense, like guys who are normally, like, let's say Jalen Brunson hasn't had Brunson games. Like he has, like he's had good games. Don't get me wrong, but he's missing. Like when you watch the game, like you feel like the efficiency hasn't been what it's been throughout his tenure here with the Knicks.
And he's getting the shots. Those are his shots.
Yeah.
Right at the rim, missing. Right in the key, missing. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's a leg issue. I don't know if there's an injury issue. I'm not sure. But he's getting good shots. They're just not falling.
Yeah.
9.5 seconds, 121, Atlanta and Detroit.
Who's up? Say that again.
121, 9.5 seconds. It will be Atlanta's ball now, though. Detroit just scored, so it'll be Atlanta's ball coming up.
Nick Nation, I'm not even worried about that game. I'm worried about I see OKC. I thought OKC was gonna do us a favor, but they getting beat up right now. They down by 9. Yeah,
Are
by
they
9
too?
points with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So because that's who I'm where I like if Boston loses, we automatically we jump to the second seed.
Yeah.
But
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
yeah, so yeah, but I mean you could look at the vibe, the body language. You like OKC's done. I don't even see them climbing that back. But anyway, let's get back to our Knicks.
Mhm.
Yeah, going back to defense. How do you guys feel about Mikal Bridges? Like he was on a terrible slump, right? It's been picking up the last maybe couple of games. Definitely yesterday's games was a huge difference from where he's been. But even the game before that, there's been steady improvements. Do you guys feel that I mean, that slump is over, or is this something we probably going to have to worry about come playoff time?
I'm going to refer to Queen because I want her to bring some positivity to it.
I'm trying to be laid back and not talk too much. I think Mikal Bridges will be fine. He's not shooting well, but I actually feel like the other parts of his game has been there. I think he's chipping in different categories. Last night he didn't shoot well overall from the field, but he shot 40% from 3. He took 10. He made 4 of them. The shot looks good. I just think he's in that offensive slump, but it doesn't look like he's allowing that slump to impact the other parts of his game. And I just think in the playoffs, we need him to knock down those corner threes. I think Cat and Brunson are going to generate a lot of, a lot of, they'll have a lot of gravity, a lot of attention. And when that ball goes out to him and OG, man, if y'all don't do nothing else on the offensive end, knock down those wide open threes and the Knicks will be good.
Let me see. For me, let me see it like this.
Yeah, bring it, man.
Let me first of all, let me get over here and be enduring to the chat. Big shout out to the chat. Greg, Ohead, Randu, Curtis. Who else we got up in here? Right? We got some, right? We got Wiz. We got Lady and the Chef. We got Sharon. Let me be enduring to the chat before I give my take, and then all these tomatoes come and I get hit, So, I've been rough on Mikal for a bit here. And I think I've only been true to what his game has been. It's no secret. I've said it on multiple shows. I cheer for him when he's out there. I want him to do well. But make no mistake though, I'll preface it also with come the summer, I want Mikal gone. I don't believe in his value of payment will ever equal out what he's giving us. I think that as a fan, going forward and moving forward, I want our dollars, even though they're not my money, but I want our team with the best value players that we can have. With that being said, is just that on Mikal's game alone, and I give him, his effort for putting in a bit better on the point of defense and, and staying focused there, even though his offensive game has been just, to me, abysmal at times. He has done he's been moderately adequate on offense for these last 2 games, and that's it. I can't really give him any more than that. He hasn't been, to me, a world beater at any point. So I'm going to judge a little bit harder and roughly, but every second that he's out there, I definitely cheer for him. But the end bottom line is that the results are not there. The results will not be there. The results are not there now, even at the gauge of a $24 million player. It dag sure will not be there for a $34 million player come next year. So I don't see in any point of this offense here the path for him to even earn that value, because if it's like everybody else is saying, if he's the fourth point in which we're attacking point on offense and in that order, to me, no. That's not a $34 million player. And I don't think that we're getting anywhere near the value out of our dollar for a player that's just bringing what he's bringing. And I'm sure there's others out there who'll show me all these numbers, but ain't nobody going to beat that eye test that I see when I'm watching him play the game. So.
And Nick Nation, so do you feel this way this season or since he's been here?
Almost since he's been here. I have given him times where in the playoffs he showed up, as things like that. And he has made big plays and, but a lot of times he's got to make those big plays, I say, is because where was he earlier? Was he a cause of even having us in those situations where he had to make a big play? There's always that aspect of it as well. So I know people say that, oh, yeah, he made that block. He did this, he did that. But if he had been doing certain other things, scoring more or playing better defense at that point, or, showing up for the price of the value and what he's supposed to be for this team, then maybe wouldn't be in those big positions where he had to make some of those super clutch shot or block a shot in that sense too. So call me a pessimist, but right now that's the way I feel about Mikal until he shows me difference on a consistent basis. And I don't see that happening.
Mm-hmm. And I don't disagree with you. It's really the consistency, because we know Mikal Bridges can play. And I've said this many times. There's a body of work that you could judge him by, right? I mean, he was a very, very good player in Phoenix. When he was in Brooklyn, he was the top guy. He was reliable. He was the go-to guy, and he was delivering, right? But come here, it's just not the same player. Now, are they going to trade him? I would say that depends on how the Knicks fare in the playoffs, right? And somebody in the chat asked, trade Bridges for who? That's another part of it. You got to trade him, because trading him for who is not the hard part. It's like, what team's going to want to take him from you, seeing what we're seeing, because they're seeing the same thing we're seeing, right? And probably with more analytic eyes to go with it, and probably understand more of what's going on with him. But it's kind of going to be tough for another team to pick this guy up to want to pay him $34 million based on his production. I mean, if we could trade him, if we could free up $34 million to go after somebody, because Queen, shout out to Queen, she always says, you could get from other players who cost much less, like maybe half that price, and you can get the same kind of stats that you get from Mikal Bridges.
Facts. I 100% agree, and I think that's why I'm pointed that way.
Problem is, who's gonna take him off the Knicks' hands?
There's somebody. There was. I know Portland wanted him, so there was reports out there that they wanted him, but what we were going to get back from, I'm not sure. But at this stage, is our concern really what we get back, or getting off that money, and then and to me, it may sound like I'm making this up, but the path for us following this year, one of the starters are probably going to have to go. It's just the way that the money numbers, the way that the money numbers are going to work, especially if we want to extend any players or keep players or things like that, or even have a chance at anybody else in free agency. One of those guys have to go. We can't maneuver like we are. You got to set your point of who your dominant force is going to be. And that's it. And then you chip and pay money. How us paying out money to all 5 starters like that, it's at a point where it would catch up to you. And I believe as far as going into next year, that's something that would catch up to us.
Yeah, I mean, but we're in a tough spot though, man. Like, you can't, it's not easy getting rid of players, man, especially with those kind of contracts. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, let's wait and see, man. Let's wait and see what happens in the playoffs. What kind of house cleaning they do at the end of the season, depending on how far we reach. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. Shout out to the chat, man. The chat is very active. Let me see. Let me take a couple of minutes to go on the board here. Highlight some of those comments. Shout out to Cool Breeze 718. Says, I feel good about this team. Last 29 games, 22-7. That's a pretty good record, right?
Yes,
and 29 games wasn't just 29 against 29 bad teams. We played a lot of very good teams, a lot of great teams in those 29 games, and we still come out with a 22-9 record. So shout out to Cool Breeze 718 for that. HRM X great. Mitch flipped the switch. And I did talk about that. I guess that's when he posted that, right? Mitch is playing a lot better, a lot healthier, a lot athletic, and it's kind of strange to say this at this point in his career, but it feels like the game slowed down for him even more at this point in his career. Like there's a little bit less effort for him to grab the rebounds. It almost gravitates towards him. So it's like he knows it's coming to him anyway. It's just a matter of like the minimal effort. I mean, sometimes, don't get me wrong, like yesterday we see him diving on the floor doing what he's got to do, but again, as if that was possible after so many years, the game is even slower for him. Like he could see the action a split second before it happens.
Oh, yeah.
So, shout out to Mitch, and thanks for that comment, HRMX great. Old Head, shout out to Old Head, man, always rocking with us.
Yes.
I love to see this team play when they're in the groove. They share the ball. Other than Hart, the other starters took between 12 to 29 shots, also 29 assists. The ball's been moving. They've been sharing the ball, and I guess that's one of the good things with I don't want to say it's a good thing, but it's one of the positive things with Brunson not scoring as much. So we're winning games with him not scoring, not dominating the ball as much, but so other people are getting to take their shots and especially OG Anunoby's been getting a lot of shots. Of course, Cat's been getting a lot of shots, and the other guys too. So if you see when Shamit's on the floor, he gets shots. He's not an afterthought when he's there. Like, he's actually part of the action. Josh Hart passes on too many shots, in my opinion, but he gets the open shots. So to me, that's a positive. The assist. Well, Queen, you know how I feel about the assist. I don't know what kind of stat that is. That they pass the ball. It's a two-part, right? So they got to pass the ball and somebody got to make the shot. So yeah, shout out to Old Head, man. Thanks for this. Brahim, do you think coach don't want to show his hands before the playoffs? I don't think so. I don't think that's the case at all. I think the coach, he's a new coach here. He's got a new squad. He is trying, he's trying guys in practice. He's trying guys in the room, and when they're watching the film, he's also trying them out there to see what works. Okay, I don't think there's any special hands that he's not showing. He's waiting for the playoffs to reveal some special secret, some special recipe that he's gonna deploy out there and we're gonna win. I mean, we're seeing what we're seeing. That's what it is. The team is inconsistent, and he's trying to figure out. He's trying to bring it to a point where he's comfortable that you go with this group, you get a lot of consistency. These guys got good chemistry between them. He's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll say it like this. I wish he was that kind of diabolical genius, but I'm not seeing that in Mike Brown. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, not just that, but we know our players too. Think about it. We know what those guys can do. What do you think? All of a sudden, these guys are gonna be like, Jordan and Pippen out there? No, we know what our guys could do.
Yeah, to hit that switch that fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. So true.
Yeah. We know our players, man. Yeah, thanks for the comment, Brian. Lady and the Chef. Shout out. Lady and Chef, why are you not on this show right now? Shout out to Lady and the Chef, man. The perimeter defense needs to be better against Charlotte and OKC. Knicks still haven't tightened up their perimeter defense. I agree with that. Weak point for this team that hasn't been addressed. What do you guys think? I really agree with this. And this is the NBA, and we've seen this time and time again throughout the season. The worst 3-point shooting team, if you allow them open shots, they will make them. They're professional players, they're professional scorers, they're professional shooters. You have to if you don't challenge them, they're just going to keep making shots. Okay, so what do you guys think about this? I 100% agree with the statement.
I'm gonna let Knick Nation go first.
I think at the style of defense that we run, that come playoff time, I don't think you'll see it as much during the season, but I think come playoff time, the 3-point shot, and particularly players where they like to be and where they want to get to, that we'll hone in. At least I'm wishing on that, and I believe that we do have the body of work to understand and do that, is that we will hone in and understand where these players are to be. And that second and third effort to get out to those wing areas, to get a hand up or cut some of those passes off, or get in some of these passing lanes, I think we'll have a better understanding from the style of defense in which we run, which is not a zone. It is man, but it's like, it's hard to describe in that sense. But at times, if you really look at our defense, a lot of times, it's some similar to a 3-2, what's name here, that they'll run. But it is really a lot of switching point off a man and having a discussion of who's picking up who and knowing where your help is. With that being said, you lock in and you hone in more. You got more game tape. You got more tendencies, and you lock in on who exactly you're matching up against. So with that being said, there's just a hope that during the playoffs that those areas will get fixed more so with effort. I think players pace themselves to a degree. I think they give you probably that 94, 96% a night. But during playoffs, where things get ramped up, this is where you see guys do unique things. And then you get that 105%. You get that 110%. And I think players lay it more out when they feel it counts more. So it is my hope that during the playoffs that will be tightened up a bit.
I think it looks worse than it is. I think when they have a terrible, particularly 3-point shoot, because when you talk about perimeter defense, are you talking about them not being able to contain the dribbler and they're getting in the lane, or are you talking about defending the 3, right? So when we say perimeter defense, it could gotta be specific. But in terms of defending the 3, I think when it's bad, it looks really bad. And when it's good, we don't talk about it. So since January 1st, if you take out these last 2 games, the Knicks have been 9th in opponent field goal, opponent 3-point percentage, 9th. If you went to last week Wednesday, they were 9th. Since last week Wednesday, they're down to 11. The 3-point defense has not been great the past few games. But I think because it's so bad and it looks so egregious, and you got a Brooklyn Nets team hitting threes and you got a New Orleans team hitting threes, it makes it seem that they're just a terrible team, like ranked in the bottom 5, because that's how they look some nights. But it's just not the case. That's just not the case. And the other thing I'll say is they're a team that prioritizes protecting the paint. Because they prioritize protecting the paint, they're not going to be a top 3 team in defending the 3. That doesn't mean that they should be a bottom half team either, but there's some trade-offs when you decide that you're going to, sell out to the paint. There's a little bit of a trade-off, right? And I think for a team that prioritizes the paint to be 9th, since that, I mean, I think that's okay. I think the Knicks are going to be fine, as far as that's concerned. Again, when teams go crazy, it looks worse than it is, and it looks like they never defended three.
True. We have to remember why this defense was designed. Defense, number one, was designed to protect, well, let's just call it a spade a spade. It was designed to protect two of our players. And so far it's been successful protecting our players, because it's kind of put them more to a zoned area, or an area that they're more comfortable in and understanding where they're getting their help from. So it's taken away some of the weaknesses of Brunson. It's taken away some of the weaknesses of Cat, because if you pack the paint, so now they got to force them to the point of perimeters to the outside. With that being done, that stops a lot of people from coming right down the lane and hopefully not getting Cat into foul trouble, or Mitch as well. So we have to truly remember that's what was hurting us more at the time, and what we had to do to stop the bleeding. And that defense, once it kind of really sank in, is when we started taking off and getting a lot more wins. So can't have everything. You're going to have some holes and some inefficiencies some places. We got to do our best to make up for them after that.
I don't disagree with that. Yep. So, and Lady and Chef also said, but Mikal's been better against subpar teams. Can he continue to bring that effort against OKC, Boston, Detroit? To be honest, I don't even think he's been better. I don't even think he's been better against subpar teams, because we played some subpar, meaning team with less than 500 records, and Mikal Bridges hasn't come through in a lot of those games.
But are we talking about his overall game, or are we just talking about his shooting? Because I separate the two.
I think it all looks bad, because
wow,
yeah, in that stretch that he's been on, he's not, that bad stretch that he's been on. I feel like he hasn't. I mean, he's not scoring, but then it's not like he's not making great defensive stops either. I mean, a couple of games he's got a couple of steals and stuff like that in some of those games, but he's not stopping anybody out there defensively.
Wow, I think y'all being too harsh on Mikal Bridges. I like, to me, from what I'm seeing, the shot is definitely not falling, but I don't see any impact on his overall game. He's filling the stat sheet: rebounds, assists, steals. He's just not hitting it. He's just not hitting the shot. He's taking the same shots; they're just not falling. I don't see it. But I will look. I respect you guys. So when we play Charlotte tomorrow, I'll be honing in on Bridges away from the ball to see, because sometimes if you ball watch, you miss a lot of stuff. So I will do that.
That's going to be a big game tomorrow. Like, really, it's a really good measuring stick. Shout out to Greg, says Boston and Detroit is going to be a problem for us. I mean, I've heard that before.
It looks like Boston's going to win here too. So
yeah,
and Detroit won also.
No, Detroit.
That I'm not sure. I think Detroit lost.
Detroit lost by a point.
Yeah.
So that's not. I don't even care about Detroit. That they're like, it doesn't change anything for us. But I think the Cavs are gonna lose. So there's gonna be a little more separation between Miami's giving the Cavs. They're giving the Cavs a good run for their money right now. I think they're gonna lose. I lost track of that because I was talking, but yeah, we're gonna create a little more distance between ourselves and Cleveland. So firmly in third place. Hopefully we still have a lot of opportunities to get to the second seed, but which is good. I like to say out of that 1-4 bracket, which is I don't even know if that's good or bad, but you don't aim for any team, right? It's like you play whoever comes in, whoever they put in front of you, right?
I think right now we would play Atlanta, right? Is it Atlanta?
No.
Is Atlanta 6?
Yeah. Orlando. Or did that change? Because as of yesterday.
As of this morning, it was Atlanta. It may have changed with the games played this evening.
No, Atlanta won tonight, so it should be Atlanta still. Because if they
Shout
won
out to
tonight,
Cody B.
they should be firmly in six seed right now.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you guys feel about that? Atlanta, or would you rather have had Orlando?
Bring them on. Bring them on.
Either way, like I say, Atlanta's going to be tough just because they have so many ball handlers and so many athletes. They'll be a little bit tough. Their pace, we have to control the pace. That team moves fast and gets up and down the court fast. Whoever snatches the rebound off out of almost anybody who's coming in, they are upfield and going. So you have to make them. This is where the point where I say the emphasis of dominating the boards and dominate them down in the paint to force them to pack it in. But if you allow those guys to get out and just run, they can shoot. They got some shooters there too. So Boston won. I'm
Number
sick
one in
again.
pace, and Boston won again. Hey, so shout out to Sherwin. Sherwin says, I want Detroit to play the 76ers. Actually, I want Detroit to play Miami. I hope Miami falls in the 8th spot because Miami, listen, man, I would enjoy that series because it's like I want both teams to lose, and one of them's going to lose. So I'm going to be like half happy, because Miami's going to be a tough out, man.
Nah, I rather Detroit have it to play the Sixers as well. The Sixers are much more of a physical team to match their physicality. So
then Miami?
Yes. Mm-hmm. They have you gotta remember they got the vets. They're a bigger team, they're deeper. When the Sixers are whole, it's a lot of them. They're deeper. As opposed to, going, yeah.
I gotta pay a little more attention because Miami, man, it's like they're out there fighting. It's like kung fu fighting out there.
They might be a more grittier team, but if Philly is healthy, they're a more talented team than Miami.
That's
right. I give credit to Spoelstra.
Like saying a lot.
Yeah, I just give credit to Spoelstra. That's the tougher coach for sure for me. Mm-hmm. But when it comes down to players wise, I think the tougher path would be through the Sixers.
The Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if the Knicks are playing
songs by Ziggy, Dance, and related artists.
And the thing though, like I'm looking at these brackets. I feel like any one of those teams could like we really have to be up and ready to play any one of those teams that we're looking at right now. Because I'm
laughing because Steph is just getting a taste of them now.
And Queen's like, man, I'm about to go on a cruise with them kids.
Okay. They've been here half an hour.
Well, where
not
baby?
even.
Well, where baby at? I'm sorry. Yeah, no.
But I would say this: if the Knicks are playing at their ceiling, and that's the thing, and to me, at their ceiling is Brunson and Cat playing, well, and Mikal and OG playing really good defense and knocking down those 3-point shots, and then we get in some bench production. If we're able to do that, the Knicks are tough to beat.
Yeah,
but when it's Brunson and Cat, and they're not getting the wing support offensively and defense, and we're not getting defensively, and we're not getting much from the bench. I don't know about the first round, but second round could be we might be had.
It's gonna be interesting. Like,
yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting, and I'm waiting for it.
Somebody mentioned Cade will be back. Shout out to Keith Turner. Say Cade will be back. What's his situation? What's his status? Do anybody know? And that's
no.
He was going to be evaluated 2 weeks after the injury. I don't know if it's been 2 weeks yet, evaluated, not necessarily, return to action. So he may miss the rest of the regular season. I'm not sure.
I don't even know what
see.
a collapsed lung. Like you almost kind of rarely see that on an athlete because they get monitored like so frequently. Like to me, the lung doesn't just stay in collapse. There are warning signs. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't just roll out of bed one day and then the lungs collapse.
It happened in a game. You can get a collapse in an injury. You can get a collapsed lung in an injury just like that.
Was it injury? Like he was hit, or was it?
Yeah, he was. The dude jumped on him and fell on him and hit him on the back.
Okay. See, I didn't know the story because I know like it doesn't normally happen. So there was actually a trauma to it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he'll be back by then.
Or not.
Or
I mean, I want him to, as a person, I want him to heal and be 100%. But if he misses the playoffs, I'm not crying, over it.
Queen, the worst part, Queen, is if we at our position, if we meet them, like there's more of a chance of him coming back because if by the time we meet the Detroit Pistons, it'll be like the conference finals. That's enough time for him to if they make it there and if we make it there, that's exactly when he'd be coming back. Or prior to that.
They're a more well-balanced team though. Even without Cade, I watched them a bit. They're fairly well balanced.
Man, what's that point guard the other day scored like 20, 30 points or something, that kid. Like he
started tonight too for them. Is it Jenkins? Is his name?
Jenkins. That's exactly what it is. Jenkins. Yeah, he scored 30 something points.
Yeah.
Dennis Jenkins. Yeah, thanks, Darkosaurus.
Yep.
Yeah, he wasn't missing anything the other day, man.
Yep.
And that's a good backup to have. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to them. They have a deep bench. And Queen. Speaking of their bench, that's one team that. And I know you talked about that, Knick Nation, about how we have the advantage after 5 position. I don't think we have such a huge advantage on Detroit Pistons when, at that position. That's why we have. I feel like we realize we never played. We haven't played Jalen Duren this season at all.
You don't think? I mean, listen. We
did play him once, I believe.
Nah. He was out all 3 games. He was out all 3 games and played it. We played them.
I thought we played him for one of them, though. I don't know.
I mean, he's a tough play. He's a tough player. I just feel Cat has the height advantage. But this is the thing, though. Which Cat are we getting? Are we getting floppy Cat? So when Isaiah Stewart and Duren are pushing him around and getting physical and he's flopping all over the place and the ball is falling out of his hand, we're going to get that Cat? Are we going to get the Cat like yesterday when he got the ball in the post against the 6'10" guy and he took 3 or 4 dribbles toward the middle and then turned around, back baseline for a nice shot off the glass? Like, which Cat are we getting? Because both of them are going to be physical with him. So he has the height advantage. He does not have the physicality advantage against Stewart or Duren. But is he going to use his height and touch? Or he's going to try to match their physicality, which I think would be a mistake for him.
Let's not leave out Reed either.
Right.
Yeah. Because Reed's another one who, at points, he plays well. But he's small too, though.
Ain't that crazy? Like last season, you feel like that guy was going to be out the league.
Yeah.
And here he is playing well. And the last game, man, he dominated. The last game we played, the 3rd game, he dominated. He had a really, really good game against us.
Yep. But I think, in playoffs, like I say, playoffs are different as opposed to game film and definitely understanding, night to night what you'll be going against and who you're playing. There'll be no secrets at that point in time. None at all.
Yeah. I'm going to have to check out, guys. But I appreciate you, Ajay, Knick Nation, holding it down. And I'm feeling good about the Knicks. I'm feeling good about the Knicks. but we got one of the hardest remaining schedule next week. This time, I might be here singing a different story. We not ready. We just the season is winding down. Look how we limping into the playoffs.
Yep. If a rock come busting through my window, I'll know. Oh man, Steph is mad.
I'm like, come on, man. Come on, we're supposed to be rounding into shape, not falling apart. We shall see. I'm looking forward to the competition, though.
Yeah.
It's
a good test for the playoffs. Queen, have a safe trip.
Appreciate
Enjoy.
you,
We'll be in touch.
Yep. We will.
All right.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep. All right.
Yes.
Peace.
Be safe.
All right.
Safe travels. Travel mercies.
Knick Nation. So, like, you know, a lot of people were saying how the Knicks had the sixth easiest schedule or whatever. I don't see it though. Like, I don't know what they're talking about.
No, we have the second hardest. They said we have the second hardest schedule.
Oh, really?
After I think it's after OKC is us, and then I think the Celtics are fourth. There's somebody between us and the Celtics.
So we have, because I mean, for a stretch here, we had like a bunch of easy ones, right? And I'm talking about, and that's over right now. Because right now we have
that's over.
We have Charlotte, OKC, and Houston. That's going to be 3 monster games. Then we catch a little break with Memphis, Chicago. Then we have Atlanta that you can't take for granted. Boston, Toronto, and Charlotte again.
Yes,
that's not easy.
No, it's the second hardest. It's said to be the second hardest schedule in the league left on the East. On the East, I believe, right? The way it worked out. I think it was the East or the NBA. No, it's the NBA period because OKC is number 1, so it's the NBA period.
And the first and the next 3, the next 4 are on the road.
Yes.
Wow. So we go on an extended road trip.
Yep.
So
but one caveat is here. It's like almost being in New York. So the Charlotte game will be overwhelmingly a lot of New York fans.
But that's a problem though, because that's when those other teams raise their games because they're double upset. They're upset against they're motivated by the Knicks, then they're also motivated by the Knicks fans that are in their building that have invaded their home arena. You know, so that kind of, you know,
nothing they can do about that here. There's so many New Yorkers here in Charlotte that nothing you can do about it. It's gonna be that way for a long time and moving forward. There's a lot of us here.
And you could say the same thing about Atlanta because we play there too.
We 6 barrel, 7 barrel. We got barrels. Miami 8 barrel. You know what I'm saying? We got barrels, baby.
Oh man! All right, so listen, the schedule is what it is. You got to play who's in front of you, right?
We do it. The schedule isn't as, you know what, the best part of that schedule is when you really look at it is that the games. So there's days where we have 2 days off, 2 or 3 days off, things like that. So once we come into April, you'll see that there's a gap points. And that's the point to me that eases it up a bit. It was those Death Valley ones where we kept doing those, you know, you travel and back to backs, you know, things like that. Right. Those I thought hurt us bad.
And you're right about that because we play Charlotte. And after Charlotte, let me see, Charlotte, then you have 2 days off, then you play OKC. Then, you know, let me see, OKC, then skip a day, then you play Houston. I think that might be the only back-to-back, right? Houston followed by Memphis. Oh, no, there's 2 back-to-backs.
I thought there wasn't any more back-to-backs. I thought.
No, we have more. We play Houston next week, Tuesday.
I'm on the phone. It's on there.
So we play Houston on Tuesday and Memphis on Wednesday.
Oh, God.
Then to end the season, we play like the Boston and Toronto, you know, the second week of April, back-to-back, skip a day, and then we ended up at Charlotte, on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, because I know the last game is definitely Charlotte. But Charlotte, it's back home.
Yeah, it's here. It'll be here at the Garden.
Yeah.
So listen, I mean, you know, the really the only thing is Mitch, is the Mitch situation where I think all season they've got it down pack. He doesn't play back-to-back games, so they just have to figure out which game they think they're gonna need him more, right?
Yes,
And
true.
yeah, you know,
Yeah,
and
no need to change. No need to go back to back now. The formulas
no,
worked.
they're not
You
gonna do
know,
that.
so
I mean,
yeah,
there's no reason to do that. I mean, you look at the standings right now. You know, you're trying to catch Boston. Yeah, it'd be good to have home court advantage, but we're pretty much gonna be in that 2-3 bracket. Looks like, because uh, I could double check this real quick. Cleveland was losing last time I checked, so I don't know if they. So right now there should be more distance between the Knicks
if
and the
they lost or
Cavs,
not. True.
right? So
Yep.
there's no point going back to back because you're not. Listen, I let the chips fall where they may, man. If you end up second or third or whatever, it's not like we can't win in Boston.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You know, I'm not gonna jeopardize Mitch's health or risk any sort of injury because you try to get to the second seed.
All we need is 3 wins to actually match our last year's season win total record anyway.
And
At
we
this
have
stage, right?
We have 9 games to do it.
We got 9 games to win 3 games, right? We were 51,
Yeah,
I believe, right?
we
51 and 31.
we definitely hitting 52 and up.
Yeah.
I don't see that not happening at all. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to A Train.
Yeah, Cleveland lost. Yeah, they got blown out.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah,
that just creates more space between us and that 4th seed. So we're good. I mean, you know.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, Cleveland. Yeah. Meltdown. Anyway, bums. No.
All young players look like. Let me see. What does that say?
I'm waiting to hear more of a definitive. I've heard that he's scrimmaging McBride against some of the younger players and so
he's taking
any day.
contact.
Yeah, he's taking contact. He's contact and scrimmaging. Full contact, full scrimmage.
So let me ask you this, Nick Nation. So after being out for so long, right? How do you think that's going to impact the team? Because all of a sudden now he comes back. Because you got to think about it, right? He's coming back, and I'm sure Shamit's going to be coming back probably around the same time. Okay.
True.
And then you also have Jose Alvarado in the mix, and you've been playing Jordan Clarkson, who's been giving you very good minutes and some very, very much needed scoring. And I could also throw in there DOR. Okay, even though he's not a guard, but he's like a 2/3 instead of 3-4, right? He's more like a 2-3.
3-4 at 6'9".
Yeah, but his physique, he's like really small to be that 4. Like he they did really beat him up at the 4. So how would you manage this situation? I mean, there's a cluster there.
I know. And to me, we're going in, you always hear about the rotation getting smaller and things like that. I'm hoping in that the first series is that, hey, maybe not in the first series. Maybe in the first series, we're still running 10 guys. Maybe as the series, go on, things tighten up a little bit more. Maybe you lessen down a little bit more. But right now, those are good problems to have because the guys I think that they're replacing, I think overall that they're better overall than. I think, Deuce coming back, Deuce to me has a balance where he's overall better than the other guys because Deuce is a guy that can easily give us 20 points. Deuce is a guy that can defend and still give us 20 points or 14 or 15 points. He has camaraderie with the team. So if Alvarado has to take a little bit of a back step, he has to take a little bit of a back step. The same as with Shamit. Shamit is also a guy who's, he's familiar with the team already. Some of these other guys, they're still working the nuances in. So some of these guys, they got to take a little bit, maybe a little bit back step. But then there's going to be nights where we're looking like a guy doesn't have it. And to me, if I'm being honest with myself, there's going to be times, as we know, where Mikal right now, the way he's playing, he ain't got it. So we're going to need those guys. So everybody who's that, we think we may not need, they better stay ready, because I got a feeling that they'll have to get called in.
They're probably going to get called in, but as the coach, do you think, does he go with the top guys, even if they're not playing well, just to get him in the groove, just get him in rhythm? Or because you got to remember, it's the playoffs. You don't have 82 games to fix this, right? You're literally going to have 4 games. You can't lose 4 games messing around, So what do you do? Like, do you ride and die with Mikal, or you say, you know what, I can't, like, let me try with one of the other guys with less experience, or guys that are like lower on the totem pole?
I don't think he'll break Mikal at this stage of the game. I think it's way too far. You're way too far in deep to hit stop and try to reverse things. So we're gonna live and die with Mikal in the beginning point of the game. He may not finish those games, but I think he'll finish and start. I think he'll start every game. I just think on a lot of those games he won't finish.
And you think the coach will play it by ear? Like, if he's having a good game, we take a chance. If he's not, we yank him off.
Yes, because he's human, and humans want to win at all costs. And we've seen this coach do that, where he feels at desperate times he'll do desperate measures. And if he feels that measure is not having Mikal in there at the end, we'll see where Mikal won't be in there at the end. If he can do it to our star center, he damn sure is going to do it to Mikal.
Tough situation. Good problem to have, though.
Yeah.
All right. Parrish Duggar, thank you for the generous super chat, and thanks for rocking with us, man. You always rock with us, and we really, really, truly appreciate it. Parrish Duggar says, really getting impressed with Coach Brown and the staff, playing no 5s down the stretch to defend the 3-point line better was a smart move, even though the Pelicans were shooting lights out. You know what? I didn't even know that. I didn't even realize that's what it is. That's a good point. I didn't in the heat of the game. I didn't notice that's the lineup that was out there.
Yeah, toward the end, he pulled both our centers off, which to me is tough to. I don't like the move, because then you came on and he did some double speak. The first stat that he wanted to note was it was a 14-2 difference as far as second chance points, which made a huge difference point in the outcome of that game. But then you set those guys down at the end of the game when we were winning.
And it was 14-2 with those guys?
No. So the 14-2, there was a 14-2 difference as far as scoring points based off of second chance points.
Oh, gotcha.
That was a difference points in it. But then, you say that in one at your press conference, but then in the same note, toward the end of the game, you didn't trust it, and he pulled those guys out. So, I guess he saw something different than we didn't see. It worked out. It was a bit of a struggle, but somehow it worked out.
All right. Parrish Duggar, another super chat. Thank you again, brother. Bridges has too good a playoff resume to bench him. Yeah, that's kind of like what we're talking about just now. I mean, not that they're gonna bench him, but I guess he'll gauge how he's playing on a particular game. And listen, if he's not producing, man, he's not producing, and he's done that a couple of times this season, and it produced wins. A couple of games that Mikal Bridges didn't see a second of playing time in the fourth quarter, and then we end up with the dub. So,
yep.
Whether you like it or not, or whether you want to criticize or not, but it has worked. That's what he's done. Parrish Duggar, man,
if he's doing it in a regular season game, he won't hesitate to do it in a playoff game where the stakes are higher. So if he's not playing well in that fourth quarter, 7-8 minutes in what's name, he will be on that bench in those last 7 minutes.
Yeah. I have 3 comments. It's a string of comments by Sharon. Shout out to Sharon. Sharon always rock with us, man. No matter what time we do the show, what day, Sharon was there, man. And we really, truly appreciate it, man. So Sherwin said, most teams play 8 players and sometimes 9, right? He's talking about in the playoffs, all right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Remember that. Then he said for the Knicks, 8 players in the playoff max. And he says Jose, Clarkson, and Mo will not play in the playoffs. I disagree with every one of those statements, except what the one with the most teams do play. That's not for me to agree or disagree. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's just something you argue about. That's just what it is, and he's 100% right about that. Most teams do that, but last season, the 2 teams that didn't do that ended up in the finals, right?
Facts.
The 2 teams that played more than 8 or 9 guys, they're the 2 teams that end up in the finals. So I don't know if they did play. So I don't know if that's going to be the case moving forward. Maybe because they always say the NBA is a copycat league. Maybe other teams would be like, oh, wait a minute, those guys, they were able to play 10, 11 guys and made it to the finals. Maybe that's what they're doing. And if you see Detroit Pistons, they have a very extended they play a lot of guys. Detroit they play a lot of guys. They don't play 8 players, 9 players. They play guys. All right.
They have a solid 10.
Yeah. So let's see. I mean, you're right about that, Sherwin. That's what historically that's what has happened. But I don't know that that's what that means. Now, in terms of this one, I think Jordan Clarkson's definitely going to get playing time in the playoff. He's very, very, very playoff experienced, and when we're jammed and we need points, we need to put points on the board. I have no doubt that Coach Brown's going to call upon Jordan Clarkson to try to get some points on the board. Maybe Diawara won't play because of lack of experience. I'm not saying he's not going to play, but I think the coach will test him out there. Let him get, let him get in the moment, get a little feel of the playoff depending on the game. But if there's a critical moment when we need critical plays, he's definitely not going to see playing time because of lack of experience. But I think he's going to get some minutes just to get his feet wet. Of course, depending on the game, right? If we're up by 8 in the end of the second quarter or whatever, Mo's definitely going to get some minutes to see what he could do out there, how he responds.
This is let's not call him, Sharon's being a little rough there, calling him little Jose. It's just Jose. He's a grown man. But Clarkson and Wilson, I think, to me, honestly, you can't say they won't play at all in the playoffs. Health also has something to do with it, injuries, how players are responding, especially Jose at times. Will he feel he needs him to come out there for defense? Will he need Mo, let's say at the end of a half, end of a quarter, will he need him in there for a minute or 2? All of a sudden he blocks a shot or he does well. You never know. But I think in the first round of whoever we play, like I said earlier, I think that you may see 9, 10 more. You may see him, fishing out to see who is responding and playing well in the playoffs. And then I think later on, you may see certain things where it will tighten up to 8. It may tighten up to 7. You never know. But how he feels and how he feels who's playing well at that moment, those are where moments like that, I believe, have to be captured. Because like you said, you got 4 what's names here and 4 chances at it as far as game wise. Otherwise, you're going home. So as we know, when coaches get desperate, we seen Tibbs do it. When Tibbs was at a desperate point of a desperate what's name here, and he wasn't all right. He changed it up a bit, but only at that desperate point of that desperate measure. So to say never that they're naming that play, nah, that's too hard, especially not when these guys have been playing all year, maybe limited minutes or this or that, but they serve a purpose at times, and he may be able to take advantage of it because Mike Brown loves to experiment and he loves to push buttons. So let's see if that's like I say, that's more of a remains to be seen.
Yeah, and it depends also on who the opponent is, right? It depends on who we're playing.
Exactly.
But overall, I think all 3 of those guys are going to get some minutes, not extensive minutes, not double-digit minutes. Maybe Clarkson, if he's scoring, like he's going to see a lot of minutes. But I don't see the two guys getting a lot of minutes, but to say they're not gonna play, I disagree with that. I think, and again, this thing here, I definitely don't think we're gonna. Um, the rotation is not gonna be shortened to 8 men. That's just not gonna happen. I mean, that's one of the things they did not. That's one of the things I kind of like disliked about Tom Thibodeau is the fact that his rotation was too short. They feel like, it was just too much on the players. So, they, at least the front office, feel like they beefed up the bench. So this new coach, like, there's no reason for him to just play 8 guys. I don't see that happening at all. If this is happening, like, we're really desperate and we're on our way out. That's just how I see it.
Yeah, it's tough because if you name the 8 players who we believe to be solid players like that, it doesn't do much for size besides Mitchell Robinson. Let's call Mitchell Robinson, let's say number 6, right? If we're gonna say Landry Shamet 7, if we say, or we put him before that, put Deuce, that's 7, and then Shamet, that's 8. 2 guards, that's it. No wing, no other what's names. That might be tough. So I got a feeling that some of these guys, even though he's a guard happy guy, there's just matchups. I think that he's got to put some of his faith into Mo, and Mo may have to be the guy to try to help defend it at times. Because if I got a guy that's 6'9" on the bench, and there's at times that I may even need to get a couple of fouls in or give a guy a different look, I'm putting that kid in. He's part of our future, which we believe anyway. And I think that no matter what, there are players that no matter what the size of the moment is and the lights and all this, to me, Mo strikes me as one of those guys that I don't think that stuff phases him as much. I think he just goes out and plays his game at this stage. I think he tunes a lot of that stuff out. Remains to be seen once he gets into the playoffs. But currently, the way he looks, this guy came right in and waving players off, calling out the what's name, calling out the offense, you know what I mean? Shifting. He still does that at times. Yeah, so it's you just have players that are like that, where they just unconscious about things. I happen to think he's one of them.
Completely fearless, completely carefree, like he's just playing, like
Yeah, just like I'm doing my thing.
Yeah,
I'm doing my thing. Oh, don't forget too. Paris Duggar, he did send another super chat if I remember.
Yes,
but
I have it here. Yeah,
okay.
And thanks again, Paris Duggar, for the generous super chat. Paris Duggar said, second chance twos better than Cat giving up on threes.
I'm not sure what he's referring to on that. Maybe it was something that we were talking about earlier or later. I'm not sure.
Let me see. Second chance twos better than Cat giving up on threes. I don't know. Paris Duggar, please clarify a little bit. But I you know what? And speaking of Cat passing up on threes, I really hate that he does that. In yesterday's game, there was a play. Actually, I text Queen Steph about as we're watching the game. I'm like, and you know what? Matter of fact, that was the last play of the first half. He passed on a 3, drove to the basket. He didn't get the call. He doesn't get the call. He's got to understand that. He had an open 3. He didn't take it. And, he drove to the basket, didn't score. And then they went the other way and they scored.
Yeah, I remember cursing right before half. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I would have preferred him take that 3 for 2 reasons, right? Because you missed that 3. They fight for the rebound. A little more time comes off the clock. The other team don't have a lot of time to, And then when you drive into the basket, you don't get the call. They get the rebound. They go in the other way 5-on-4. And it's easier for them to score. Like it was these plays, man. Like, sometimes got to be more, the IQ's got to be there a little bit. I understand in the heat of the game, in the heat of the moment, it's kind of tough to make those decisions. But, man, if you got an open shot, he's a very good 3-point shooter, man. True. If you got an open shot, take it. You got a little guy running at you. That little guy can't block you. Especially you beyond the 3-point line, guys. There's no way this guy's going to catch you.
This is where we start discussing as far as IQ and our team and basketball players. And I think that's what Mike Brown is trying to get some of these guys too, to where their IQ is that where, you know, they understand certain things that are just general basketball things, and it shouldn't be like call a timeout or to halftime to make an adjustments. You see a guy that's 6'4", 6'3", 6'5", you see him on cat or the mismatch, what's name is, push the guy down. You as the ball handler know that whatever I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move, make a creation to get cat that ball. Take advantage of it. There's little simple plays where we can get easy baskets at times where we miss. And it's a lot of times it's based off of points of our IQ. Is that, you know, players and teams and just in general have to know that that's an easy path to a basket as opposed to, you know, Brunson having to take 7 to 8, 9 jab steps and get into his footwork. We got to take advantage of what is out there.
Yeah. And Parrish Duggar, shout out to you, clarify, say, Cat especially wouldn't get out against the 3 ball. So basically not guarding the 3 ball. That's why Brown chose not to play in the last 5 minutes. Well, Cat doesn't, but Mitch does. You know, Mitch guards the 3-point line. He goes,
True.
you know, he makes a run for it. And more often than not, man, believe it or not, he you know, he alters the shot or not block it, not so much block the shots, but, you know, alters it a little bit, you know.
Yeah, at least something. He gives something point to it.
So I had another couple of things here. And old head says Coach Brown is not Tibbs. I think we're seeing the rotation. Remember, OKC and Indy played 10, 11 players last year, so will the Knicks. Yeah, you know, Nick Nation and myself, like, we don't disagree with this. We think maybe not consistently 11, but we're definitely not just shrinking this rotation out to just 8 players. That's just not going to happen. I really think that was a strong point with the front office. Like, they really didn't want to see this repeating itself. And there might have been a couple of games this season where the Coach Brown tightened the rotation to like 8 players and maybe 8.5. But you know, you realize most of the season he's been playing a lot of guys, and there's a reason why Jordan Clarkson's coming back into the rotation and Mo Diarra is getting more minutes. And you know, when Deuce and Shamet come back, so he'll have more guys to play. Okay, so he's not just gonna stay with 8 guys. So he's looking for more guys to trust. That's why he's playing those guys, to know who he can rely on in the postseason. So I just don't see the 8 guys happening.
Facts. I don't see it too in that sense. Is because out of the 8, give me. I mean, I know we can substitute in and out as far as our forwards, but really, if you're just saying 8, we have no real other forward that's coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Besides Mo, you know what I mean. If you want to call him a small forward, power forward, either way. He's the only one. Those other guys are guards. Yep. You know what I mean? Besides Mitchell Robinson coming off, everybody else we list are guards. You know, you making, and they're not even big guards because ain't none of them 6'6" at least. At least if you say, well, you know what I mean, that constitutes at least a big guard. It's at least 6'6". Those guys are really, you know what I mean, we list a few of them at 6'5", but they really 6'4", 6'3". So,
Yep.
That'd be a tough fit to just say we're not gonna bring any of them off that bench.
Like I've been complaining all season, Nick Nation. I said the Knicks, we need a true power forward. We really do.
We did have one, and we traded him. Remember, we traded him. So
I really hope in off season they make it a point to go after a real power forward. So shout out to East Blue Drew. Pretty much what we're saying. Mike goes big. So you definitely bring in 11 or 12. I don't know about 12, brother, but
go big or go home, baby.
Go big or go home. I'm saying definitely not 8. That's all I'm saying. I just don't see the 8.
Yeah, big shout out to East Blue Drew, Randu, Sharon, all these guys still out here sticking with us. We appreciate you guys. Yeah. Craig, you know what I mean? Sharon, all you guys. I appreciate you guys all coming in here. The silent listeners as well, too. But silent listeners, always do us one good favor. We know you can silently listen, but you can silently hit that thumb as well, too. Blink. Just give us that good like for us. We appreciate y'all.
and silently share with your social media family. Let them know this is where the hangouts at on random. Set those notifications, guys. That way, when we start random shows, I mean, this show's not random. Like if you used to this channel, like if we play on Thursday, there's been luckily this season, Nick Nation, there's only been a handful of Thursday games. I want to say like 5, 6, 7, maybe most at most. So we've been lucky. So we've only had a few times we had to shift the show on Thursday, or I think one time we even shifted to a Friday or something. But the only way to know that is to get your notification on. Now there's another couple of things I want to touch before we leave, right? Now comparing to other teams, right? So right now we're it's a little bit early. We don't know if that's set in stone yet, but looks like, let's say if the playoffs start tomorrow, we'd be playing the Atlanta Hawks, right? Do you have a preference or like a favorable path that you see looking at that Eastern Conference, right? So you basically look at the bottom, because we're gonna end up 2 or 3. So now you're looking at the bottom, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and it's fair to say that, yeah, pretty much.
If I had my wish,
6, 7.
If I had I'll take whoever's coming. But if I had my wish, who would I like to take on for the beginning to open up? Right off the bat, Toronto. I just think that we can do whatever and just, what I mean. I think there's no way. I don't see any path unless multiple injuries happen of Toronto beating us 4 games in a 7-game series. Period. I think that would be a sweep. I think that's a possible sweep, and where we could be, setting up and getting our body right and mind right again for the next series.
And guess what? That's still a possibility, because right now they're the Hawks are only half a game behind them, with 1 more game in the loss column. So if the Atlanta Hawks take on that 5 seed, Toronto drops to 6 seed. So that's so if we're 3rd seed, we play the 6 seed, so that's still a possibility.
Yeah, I think they overrate Scotty Barnes. I think they overrate the facet of their whole defense. I just see them as that is, if I had my choice to say just get us to the 2nd round and just say that would be my what's name. But I take who we can get. I'll take all the smoke on who we can get.
Not even 2nd round. And I'm looking at this standing. You're right, man. So the Raptors is probably even though they 5th seed right now, like matchup wise, they're probably our best bet, including the teams at the bottom of the pile, right? So right now, Miami's 10th seed. I'd rather play the Raptors instead of playing the Heat.
Yep.
Because Miami is they all the way down on 10, but it's like we always have a problem with that team, man. Even this season we did. I think did we go 2-1 against them maybe this season? But it's still a very hard fight with them every time.
Yeah, we bring out the best in them.
Yeah, we bring out the best in them.
They probably get that email, from Pat Riley. Hey, I hate this team. So.
Yeah, I mean, East Blue Drew. Yeah, we get the Hawks. It's gonna be work, but I still have that thing on. But it's gonna be work no matter who we get at this stage in the game. They weed out the worst teams in the league. So all 8 teams that are left in the East are gonna be the 8 best teams in the. It's just a matter of matchup, like who you match up well against. You know what I'm saying? So talent wise, I think we're probably talented than most of those teams. But matchup is an issue for the same stuff we're talking about, like with the plethora of guard, like all the guards that we have. We don't have a true power forward, like the roster limitations that we have, but we have talent. It's just who do you match up against, So all right, so that's 1st round. And 2nd round, obviously, if things fall the way they are, 2nd round we get in the Boston Celtics, right? If the highest seed, if there's no upsets, we're playing the Boston Celtics in the second round. And how do you feel about that with Jason Tatum coming back?
I'm not even though they won tonight, I'm willing to take on the Celtics as well. We beat them last year, but that was a different team. This is a different team now with a different coach, different, a little bit different personnel. I just don't think that, as much as what we see of Tatum, Tatum's not back. And I don't think Tatum will be himself until next year. I think he'll be more like himself. He's playing well. He's going through it, but I don't think Tatum's himself. And I think once the physicality even increases in the playoffs, I think that'll be exposed a little bit more. He's still, I think he's just 80 to 85% of himself. I don't see it. To me, when I watch him, I knew what he was doing before he went out, how he dominated, how he would play through a foul, so he's just different now. His defense was a lot better too.
Nation, 85% Tatum is still scary though.
Well, if I beat him at 100%, I like my odds then.
Yeah, but isn't it fair to say I bought last year's Boston team? I think, if I remember correctly, they were more of a matchup problem for us than this season's. And this season's team's playing. I don't know what their record is. I feel like they're playing better than last season, but I think matchup wise, last season it was. I feel like it was harder to beat the team we beat last season, because remember they still had Porzingis, they still had Old Man River, Al Horford, who as old as he was, still he was giving us problems, right? Who else they had? They lost somebody else.
They lost Porzingis. They lost Drew Holiday. And
Drew Holiday, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Drew Holiday, they lost. Oh yes,
he played last year.
He played last year. Yeah, he was. Mm-hmm. He wasn't great though. He did play last year, and he was injured right before the playoffs. Like he came back a little bit before that, so he wasn't. He wasn't so. And they were more of a matchup problem for us last season.
Yeah, this year.
I feel like
it's Peyton Pritchard. It's Peyton Pritchard that's the problem. If you slow down Peyton Pritchard, which we've seemed to have issues with, but if we slow down Peyton Pritchard and Peyton Pritchard doesn't have a good game, Celtics usually don't do too well. It's Peyton Pritchard that kind of throws that offset off the bench, because Peyton Pritchard can easily get 22 to 30-something points on you quickly and fast.
Well, so can White. You got to slow down White too.
But White's one of the starting unit as far as coming off the bench wise. It's Pritchard. When Pritchard's on like that, Pritchard's a problem. Because he can shoot, and his handle's gotten a lot better. He is not settled for where he's at. His game has improved each year. So
he dropped in tonight's game. He dropped a couple of bombs, like a couple of long distance jams, man.
Yeah.
And every time OKC tried to make a comeback, like he boom.
Yep. He's a nightmare in that sense.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, man. So. Right now we'd be playing the Hawks. I'm still comfortable with playing Atlanta. It's gonna be work, but I like our chances against the Hawks. Somebody said Tatum looks good tonight. Just good, but not great. He used to be great.
Yeah.
Shout out Paris Dog. It says Deuce, Shamet, Clarkson, Diawara are all the same person, so Brown will use all by feel.
I agree.
I don't think they're the same person, but I agree that
not the same person, but that
Brown
he'll
will
use them by feel. Yeah,
by feel. That's pretty much what we're saying, right?
Yeah.
Like even Diawara, I think is going to get some minutes. And like you said, the end of a quarter when you need to get. To give somebody a breather, this guy, he could score like
pick up a silly foul, do this, do that. You're gonna have to bring him in. Yeah,
you bring him in, and he give you 5-8 points real quick too.
Just think about it. Deuce, you can have Deuce, you can have Mitch, Sohan, you can put in Diawara. You know what I mean? Like all type, what's the name here? Shamet,
Shamet, yeah.
When you want to make a serious stop, OG, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you put some length and things out there for just, he's going to you got to pull out every trick. You got to pull out everything you can do. And it's the playoffs. Scrap, grind, whatever we got to do.
And it's short in snippets, right? Short stretches at a time. Like if the guy's slipping, man, he's hitting the bench.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So listen, I can't wait for this to start, man. I cannot wait. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be a great postseason. Like I hope our Knicks go, at least to the conference final. And if it's Detroit there, it may not be. You know what I'm saying? Because Detroit,
who knows?
Detroit, just like we're thinking about matchup problems, Detroit have teams that give him problems.
Oh yeah.
Like if they go and stumble upon the Miami Heat, man, Miami is not an easy out for Detroit Pistons. As good as Detroit's playing, Miami's giving them a hard time this season. Like, so it's not going to be easy for anybody. It's
if you get these Sixers coming in and you get a few of these guys playing, say, the last 6-7 games, and all three of them come back, and you know what I mean, and all of a sudden here they get into a rhythm and they're playing Detroit. Yeah, Detroit's gonna have problems.
Yeah,
Detroit's gonna have problems.
When is Paul George? Is he back? He's supposed to come back because he was.
I think it's the last. It should be like the last 7 games, somewhere in there.
Oh yeah, so he's coming back next week then.
Something like that should be his 25 games, right?
Yeah.
Because his games started right at the All-Star or something like that, right?
Yeah. So they played 77 games. So he should be back.
Right?
Yeah, Philly's locked in. They're 40-33. Oh, I'm not 70-7, 73 games. Okay, they played 73 games.
Yeah, he should be. If I remember calculating it, somewhere in there.
Yeah, so they have 9 games left. So they really should be back. He should be back sometime next week, I guess.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's like, you get 6-7 games just to get in rhythm, and then they go into playoffs.
Yeah. That's why we should. I'm curious to see if Deuce is traveling at all. If not, then we'll know that he won't be back until after these 4-game stretch, more than likely. And then, with us, we'll see. We'll see if he's actually even comes to this game here.
Yeah. Yeah, but news is that he's been taking contact. I mean, at this point, he really should be ready to at least be thrown in for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, but typically when they either do travel, if they do travel with them at some stage, then typically they may play if he's coming back off of it. But if you don't see him traveling, more than likely, that means he'll go through those 4. It'll be another 4 games before we see him, possibly. But we'll see. And they're going to bring him in, fairly slow too, either way, because there's no way they want him to get any kind of soft tissue injury, like, quote, AKA, your hamstrings. So they're going to ramp him up slow between your calves, your hamstrings. So we'll see.
Oh, somebody shout out to, I'm sorry.
Oh, he played already?
Yeah, Vashawn Hollis. He played tonight. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, because I know he's supposed to be come back.
So he's back. Man, thanks for the heads up, man. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So they just still missing what's the name then? Well, the 2 of them.
Let me see what they do tonight. The 76ers.
Yeah, I got my score.
Oh man, they beat the Bulls. They scored 157 points.
Anyway.
No,
my phone died. I forgot.
Oh, they scored 157 points. The 76ers. Yeah. Oh shit. Paul George had 28 points. Whew.
Yeah. They could be tough.
Yeah. Yeah. What else you got, Knick Nation? What else you got, baby? Come on.
I don't got too much else. It's been
man,
I'm an old man.
Shout out to this chat, man. Parrish Duggan said, I value Deuce and Clarkson the most in the playoffs because of experience. I agree with that. I really think both of those guys have playoff experience, and Jordan Clarkson have a lot of playoff experience. So I don't expect Mike Brown to be shy when it's time to pull him off the bench.
Yeah, definitely. But then there's always, like they say, the wild card And sometimes we always love a wild card when you throw a young rookie in like Diawara, because then all of a sudden it becomes hard to possess. It's like, wait, what does he really do well? Like, what should I be, And all of a sudden, if he can possibly explode on them, because he's said is, hey, if you leave him alone, he will pull the trigger, and he does not hesitate.
Yeah, especially with his demeanor. He's cool, calm, collected. He seems like he doesn't fold under pressure.
Nope.
So yeah, that could be a good weapon. Maybe that's the element of surprise. Maybe that's the master plan that whoever was talking about it.
We don't want to count on that though. But if it works out, it works out.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Definitely. And
I see. Saying Deuce will play the next game.
I hope so, man. I really want to see Deuce get some burn before the playoffs.
Facts.
So hopefully he's fully recovered. And Paris Stark, I don't know if he's the better pressure shooter at the bunch, but I would say that he's not rattled. Do you know what I'm saying? He's not rattled. He meets the moment. He looks like, I mean, you could tell he's young. You could still, like guys, when we grow up, sometimes like we don't have full controls of our limbs because the limbs just get much longer than we realize.
He's still goofy.
He's still goofy. He's still in that mode, right? But he's not, there's no pressure.
Yeah. His coordination will come to him soon. He's 20 years old. So his coordination will come in fully soon.
Yeah. Which, you hope it
happens. He's not old enough to drink yet.
Yeah. He's you hope the coordination comes sooner rather than later,
Oh yeah. I think a year of being truly here in America, getting into a true weight program and things like that. Because from what I understand, a lot of times the players over there, they don't, not like here. They don't do the weight program like we do, the strength training programs like we do. And I think, coming back over here, he's got a chance to see the speed of it, feel the grown man, pressure being applied, on him, pause. But I think he'll learn. I think this is a kid that can come back, and be actually a lot more even impressive on defense, getting stronger, and all of a sudden people can't just displace him so easily.
Right.
With 6'9" with a 7'4" wingspan, that's a problem for anybody.
Yeah, that's definitely. And he could shoot. He's got that touch too. Like he's so far you see that he's got some moves. I mean, he gets to the basket, the Euro step, like knows how to avoid contact and how to take contact.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
6'9" can still be growing with a handle.
Yeah. So
you can still be growing at that age. So just think, right? Didn't RJ grow 2 inches or something like that with us?
Yeah, while he's with us. Yeah. Have you heard anything about Shamit's situation health-wise?
No. No, not just the last. What I heard was on SMY. Big shout out to Ian Bagley. Was he just said that the same as of Deuce, is he's taking contact, and Shamit, he didn't think that was going to be that serious, and he should be, could be returned any day.
If anybody out there in the chat, if you heard anything, any update on Jordan Clarkson's health situation, please share. Right, because he's gonna be those are guys that's gonna be very important to our playoff run. Shout out to Sherwin. Mo D handle sucks.
Sherwin's a hater.
Man, shout out to Sherwin, man, always rocking with us.
I'll take that 20-year-old with a 6'9", 20-year-old who can bring the ball down, who's dribbling and going into the basket. I'll take that, especially a young cat like that with a Euro step already. I'll take it.
And a shot. Supposedly he couldn't shoot when he first got in the league, man. He worked himself into being a 40, close to 40% shooter on average. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Would you rather Mo's handle or OG's handle? Which one you taking?
Man, that's a tough choice. See, and that's unfair to Knick Nation because Mo hasn't had the amount of touches that OG had. So it's kind of hard to compare. But right now, listen, OG's been better as of late, though, right? He's been
True.
better lately.
True.
He hasn't fallen out of his shoe. Like
True.
he's been able to but that OG's handle is scary. I mean, you like it's like a 50-50 chance with him, But lately he's been getting to the basket. He's been dunking a lot more.
Dunking on
Like,
people.
I mean, he's been dunking,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, but his assists, you know what I mean? He sees the floor well.
Yeah.
He anticipates, he throws the ball ahead of guys. He's got a lot of intangibles for a 20-year-old. A lot.
Yeah.
Those are little small things that build up to make him a player. And believe me, that's why Mike Brown has him out there. Because he does more than just score. And people have a hard time scoring on him at times too. At that, at that point of that shot, where do you see them arms come up on you? And you realize how long this guy is, pause, but he's coming at you. So it's a good look.
A-Train, come on, A-Train. Don't do the dog, the OG the dog like that, man. I think a door handle over OG. Come on. Come on, A-Train. That's the DOG.
Yeah, come on, man. Don't do our players like that. What kind of Knick fan is that? Don't be like that.
OG in the playoffs, he's gonna be our third most important player after Cat and Brunson. Okay. So
we need OG. Without OG, we ain't going far.
We're not going anywhere without OG.
No,
okay. So he's you got to remember, between his offense and defense, what he gives you on both ends of the floor, he's just as valuable as Cat, who's a force on the offensive but very porous on defense. So
Cat, Hart, he's a glue person as well.
Yeah, we
have a hard time when we don't have OG.
Yeah,
he's another glue guy. So
and more often than not, man, he has his games. He the 3-point shot, he's got it, man. He's got that corner three.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah. I think, and I know Knick Nation, I know we're probably right before the playoffs. I know we're gonna do a show, kind of like a prediction show, analysis, like like the player, the pros and cons of each player, and give our opinion. Look at we usually do that, right? Look at the stats, like what every player, and I think OG's probably gonna be one of our X factors, in terms of how far we make it into the playoffs, because we already 100%. Know we already know what we're gonna get from Mikal. We know what we get from Cat, Brunson. Probably one of the more most valuable guys or most important guys is gonna make a difference. Gonna be OG Anunoby's play, because he could literally make or break our playoff.
He's definitely more steady than our other wings, I would say, as far as being consistent scoring wise and defensive wise. Besides the lapses that when he gets hurt and once he has to ramp it back up, but typically once he ramps it back up, he's then a pretty even keel. But it's just that once he falls right off and takes him a little to get back, and then he's up there. So I'll stick with OG.
Definitely, man. So A-Train clarifies OG is an X factor, but I'm sorry, guys. A bag got more handles. A-Train, man. A-Train coming with that.
He's not a fan. I'll say he's not a fan. He's not an OG fan. He's not in the hive.
A-Train is a she.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I'm sorry. Forgive me, A-Train. I didn't know. Forgive me. So she's not a fan. She's not a fan. I see that. She's definitely not a fan of OG. I see.
No, listen. She likes OG. I'm sure A-Train is a fan, but she's calling it as she sees it. Like she always does.
Okay.
She does. Shout out to Lady.
She ain't a fan of his handle. I'll tell you that.
Of his handle, and you can't blame her, man. But listen, lately he's been better. OG's been better. Like less slipping and sliding and falling all over the place. So you have to be able to appreciate that. At least I do. And I used to cringe when I see him drive, like not so much, because now more often than not it ends up with a dunk. And he's been really, really good at that lately. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to OG the dog.
Yeah.
So
I like that he's replaced some of them layups with dunks.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I mean? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. The percentage is a lot better.
definitely. And
You know what I mean?
and when he has to, I don't know if you noticed that he give you that little mid range too. So he's
Yeah.
not just dunk and three. You know,
Yeah.
there's like a little something in between too. When he has to hit that mid range, he goes for it too. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, nice. It's been pretty solid for us. We need him for sure in the playoffs. We ain't going to place too far without them.
yeah.
Especially if the way our other forwards have been playing, we need him to lock in and be there for us.
All right. Last but not least, shout out to Paris Duggar. The key to us winning will be intelligent play and pushing each other for effort.
I agree.
Yeah,
They
that's what
have to
every
play.
team.
Oh yeah, they got to play for each other. You can't
Yeah,
leave your players out there hanging out on the limb. You got to play hard for each other.
and they have to play smart. They really that the IQ. There's a IQ problem on our team. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because
I've talked about it all show.
yeah,
Basically.
no, like really, those guys are talented, man. A lot of times, man, if they could play a little smarter, man, it'd be a huge difference. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So tomorrow we have another game. I look forward to this game, man, and I hope we come up with the win on that one because that's a good test for us. Playing against Charlotte Hornet. Like I said, Charlotte is right now. I think they are in the standings. They're ninth. They're ninth seed. But make no mistake, they've been playing hard. They've been playing well, and they've been like right now they on a 4-game winning streak. They 7-3 the last 10 games, and if you extend it past the All-Star break, they've lost very few games. I don't know what the numbers are, but they've been on a couple of winning streaks, very long winning streaks.
Oh yeah.
Charlotte
Good.
Hornets. So they've been playing well
Until they run into us. Until they run into a buzzsaw. And I'm feeling buzzsaw-ish for tomorrow. So
Buzz vibe. So
you know what I mean?
hopefully we play. Listen, we played them twice to end the season. Okay, I think that's the
Yeah.
only team we played twice to end the season, right? So
Yeah, pretty. I think so. Right.
I
'cause we
mean,
only play
so
twice in one sport.
tomorrow's game is away. It's a good test. I'm really looking forward to it. So, what are you predicting? You predicting a dub on that one tomorrow?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely picking a dub. I think they may give us a good game for quite a while, but I think at the end, fourth quarter, we'll close it out. I'm going to give it, and I'll even give you a score because I'm used to giving scores from the KRT show. So let me see. I'll say that we will win tomorrow's game. I'm going to say 118 to 109. 118 to 109.
Okay, I'll make a note of it. And then, because we played them twice, so I mean, do you think we win both or we split? That means we lose at home the last game of the season?
I think the last game of the season depends on where we're at in the standings and things like that, health-wise, because a lot of times the last games, let's be honest, sometimes, you know what I mean, we're trying to get into playoff mode and trying to stay healthy.
McCullough may start that game, you're saying? So like,
exactly.
okay.
Pacom, you know what I mean? Pacom, baby.
Yeah.
My man Pacom is going to do his thing on that one.
Yeah, he might be starting. All right, so yeah, it depends on where we are with the standing, man. Okay,
Yeah.
That's good. All right, shout out to the chat, man. Let's give the chat a shout out before we log off. Whoever's
For sure.
here,
Mike T, was it Mike T424? I don't think I've seen him before.
Oh, shout out Mike T424. Welcome, man. This is your first time. Welcome. If it's not your first time, welcome back. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share with your social media family. But shout out to everybody who's been hanging out with us. I know Randu, you know, shout out, said he was leaving. East Blue Drew, Sherwin, Greg. Oh, you know who I didn't see tonight, man? Cat's burner account. What's his name again?
David.
Oh yeah,
David Smith.
David Smith. Shout out to David Smith because I know if he's not watching, I know he's gonna be part of replay gang. You know, shout out to A Train, of course. Aloe Wise was here earlier. Pash Duggar, thank you for the super chats. Nathan Helm was here earlier. Or Dorcosaurus. Also, we had a comment that we posted there from Dorcosaurus, True Grizzlies. True Grizzlies fan 22, shout out, thank you. If you're a True Grizzlies fan, thank you for coming and hanging out with us over here. You know, Wiz BKLA was here earlier, Deuce Granddaddy.
We take all kinds, as long as you're respectful. We take all kinds.
JM 3000 was here earlier. Keith Turner was here. Definitely Keith Turner was here. I remember seeing his comment. Man, shout out to you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. So I don't know. Queen's gonna be traveling, so I don't know if she's gonna do the post-game show, the recap show on
she
Friday.
made a comment about that this morning, but I don't remember what she said on the show. So unfortunately, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But she made an announcement about as far as Friday.
As far as Friday. So the best thing for you guys to do is turn on your notifications. That way, if and when she starts the show, and if it's not her, if it's just Geoff doing the show, once you start the show, you'll get notification. Sherwing said, I don't think so. I don't think David Smith is on timeout. If he is, that's probably by mistake. David Smith's just not here today.
She did put him on a timeout at one point. I forgot what it was over.
Yeah.
I thought I saw him come back, but what happened
That's
was
what I'm saying. I don't think
his message come in.
Yeah,
but I would see his message come in, and then I would see it fade out. So I've never been on timeout, so I don't know if that's what that does.
If only I know how to unblock or see who the hell's on timeout. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't know how to do that, so I can't. Yeah. I can't help.
And the way she said it, maybe she forgot, maybe she put it on, and maybe it's something that stays off or falls off. I have no clue. I'm sorry, I don't really know as much as StreamYard or it's, you know.
But if it is though, I'll figure it out. And I don't think if it is, I don't think she meant to have him on timeout. You know.
Yeah, no, I think she just meant, honestly, the way she said it.
Just for that.
Was listening on that show. And, for that day. Yeah, I think that was it. So, so David Smith, if you're out there, listen, we got love for you too, brother. So come on back. We love participation. So,
and I'll figure out how to take David Smith, aka Cat, off a timeout. The Knicks didn't play tonight, so David Smith definitely would have been here. Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Any last word there, Knick Nation?
This has been fun, Ajay. I definitely appreciate you being the host of the most here. You know what I mean? Big shout out to the
co-hosted.
Hey, I did what I could, brother, to help you out here. You know what I mean? To help the show is all about growth. I love our people. I love our fans. So, you know, keep that notification, hit those likes, help us grow this show. You guys are a piece of it. We love you guys here. So, hey, help us grow this show. Tell a friend and tell a friend, you know what I mean? That we're here, you know, like, subscribe, and share, please. We definitely appreciate it.
Definitely appreciate it, guys. And then shout out to the replay gang, the silent listeners, and even you guys who are here during the show. You could always go back and go back to the show and make your comments, and you know, there's some interactions going on in there too. Especially like right now, you know, the comments are flying, but over there when you're doing a replay gang, they sit there, and there's more of a, you know, peaceful conversation going on, you know, so don't forget to check us out on the replay.
And the Queen does check those. She does check the comments, and she makes notes, and she will may even bring your question on to the next show.
On the next show. Yeah, I check them too sometimes. Sometimes, again, same thing. I respond to them there, or sometimes I bring them here on the show. So
excellent.
All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us, Knick Nation. Thank you, sir.
Anytime, brother.
Anytime. And shout out to the Queen who was here earlier. Shout out to our other co-host, Jerrell, who couldn't be in the house tonight. Geoff, who couldn't be in. Delusional Knicks fan who's there. Sometimes I haven't had Delusional. Where are you, man?
Yeah, come on back, Delusion. We miss you.
So yeah, man, and thanks for hanging out with us, and catch you guys on the next one, man. Let's go Knicks.
Right.
You know, get that win in Charlotte tomorrow.
Facts.
All right, man. Peace out, y'all.
Peace out.
All right.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at?